What do you get when you get 3 head teachers and a side hustle? You get a business called Trip Booth. They're on the show today. These 3 teachers have built a side hustle business generating £3,000 a month. Not great, but it could be. There's actually some real good substance here. They're just not making the decision that they know they need to make, which is bloody employ someone. So you got someone full-time on the business, taking it into stratosphere. Because here's the frustration. The customers are there. The customers are really there. I want them to take the business to the next level, and I think they really can. Welcome back to the Business Broadcast. I'm James Sinclair. You can follow me actually on Instagram at James Sinclair Entrepreneur. More of you are following me than ever before. And if you'd like to follow my co-host,
here we go.
James Burt. Where would you need to go?
Just go to James Burt Official. That's the official place to officially follow me for all the official news.
By the way, I was running for mayor.
Sounds like this is a joke coming here.
No, I was running to be mayor of Greater Essex. Quite a big responsibility, looking after a multi-billion pound budget. I got through to the final 3 in the candidate selection.
It's like X Factor.
For the Conservative. I missed out. Whisker out.
He got to judges' houses. Louis Walsh said no.
That's very impressive
impression.
Thank you.
Who the bloody hell in Essex is better placed to run a £1 billion contract than you? I'm sorry.
Who's better placed to win? You know, I'm
not having it. What's her name?
It's funny. No. Look. They're good, hard-working people, but I think.
You've got so political.
No.
Skirting the questions like PR training. Come on now.
No, I just think you need an inspirator rather than an administrator to win in politics at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, we have got, we don't talk about politics
on this show,
religion on this show.
But we always do.
But it seems to always creep in. I think politics has become a marketing business more than ever. I mean, it's always was a marketing thing. You have the inspirators to get the votes. But I suppose the choice was never really inspirational enough. I mean, look at, you had, Keir Starmer, Theresa May, Rishi Sunak, David Cameron, they're just quite administrative. Then all of a sudden Boris Johnson comes along.
Yeah.
A Tony Blair with all the flair, a Donald Trump, a Jeremy Corbyn, making sure we go, these people have personality that people can get behind. And obviously, whether you like them or loathe them, Nigel Farage is the person that everyone talks about in British politics.
Yeah.
And I stood for the Conservative Party to be the mayor of Greater Essex, and the members decided to choose someone else, and I'll back that. But I believe in conservative values. We're not doing politics here, but I believe in low taxes. I believe in law and order. Hey, do you know what today? By the way, interesting. I walked down to Marks and Spencer's to get a bit of chicken. Very healthy for my breakfast.
Where did you make your breakfast?
In my camper van.
It's the funniest thing ever.
I
in a car park of his hotel.
Yeah, I heated the chicken up in my own frying pan on my own camper van.
Future Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, operating out of a camper van.
Really
Man of the people.
I'll tell you about law and order. A bloke. So I was walking along the pavement, and I got us, from Morden Coffee Shop, a couple of coffees, and a bloke just ran out of Greg's, fistfuls of food and running around. And a lady that worked in Greg's come out and said, "Oi, are you going to pay for that?" I don't know what happened to me. I said, "Love, do you want me to go and chase after him and get him for you?" Because I'm not that way inclined, but when I see stuff like that, it really makes me angry.
You're not allowed, are they? They're not allowed to let him leave.
No, she went, "Don't worry, it's not worth it."
No, it's actually not.
I wanted to.
Yeah.
I wanted to, but he got away. He's just got away with that. There's something, if you steal under 300 quid's worth of stuff or some madness from a shop, you just get away with it. It's not worth
really
something.
Oh, I'm going to do that next time I go to Marks' and I just won't bother paying. You just wouldn't, would you? Like that social construct.
Well, you're not a good person in society. But that.
Can we talk about the mayor thing?
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
How did it even come about in the first place? Like, how did you have a political leaning and inkling?
No. I got asked by my local MP, Sir John Whittingdale. He said to me, "James, local government is changing, and we can have a mayor of Essex that will run this £2 billion budget."
And this is not just where the chain cut ribbons. This
No.
is like a proactive,
Like London
like
Mayor,
a business. Yeah.
like Manchester have got, I think it's Andy Burnham in Manchester, Sadiq Khan in London. And basically what's going to happen is at the moment in the UK, you've got like 600 CEOs running the various councils around the country. How can a prime minister, deputy prime minister, a cabinet converse with 600 people and be effective? So the idea is we will copy London and Manchester, which were sort of the first ones of this. And it was George Osborne that started this process of giving more power to local government. What will happen is you will end up with 30 or 40 mayors that will look after counties. So in Essex, for example, all of the district councils and city councils will come unitary authorities, and there will be 3 in Essex: Upper Essex, Mid Essex, Lower Essex. We think that's sort of the direction of travel, that will then sit under the mayor, and then central government will liaise with mayors.
Right.
Which means if you're a prime minister, you know, dealing with 30 or 40 is much easier than 600. That's a lot, isn't it?
So it's almost like America, like the state concept. Instead of it being individual county councils, it's like,
well, you still have the unitaries, but I think it's really giving the
power,
the financial clout to these mayors to get things done.
Right.
And the idea is that so the mayor can probably deal with the mayor next door. You know, so the Hertfordshire mayor and the Essex mayor can work on partnerships to get stuff done quicker, more efficiently. Plus, you know, if you've got 15 councils in a county, you know, you've got 15 CEOs, 15 chief financial operators. You know, there's on average in each council 23 people on more than £100,000, and some of them on 150s and 200,000. Lots of people that lead councils earn more than the prime minister.
Yeah.
And so there is an argument that money then can be redeployed to frontline, which everyone wants, like potholes and stuff.
Did you have any reservations?
So I got asked. I don't want to. I mean, I've been asked to be an MP now more times than I can shake a stick.
Yeah,
at,
I can imagine.
I absolutely do not want to do. But this mayor gig, you know, I was thinking, I could meet the Prime Minister, I could champion entrepreneurship, I could champion enterprise, the stuff me and you do on this podcast, but actually talking to the people that make decisions and powers. Nothing bad has come of it. I now know the leader of the very strange, having Kemi Badenoch call you on her mobile phone. You know, I spoke to, you know, past Home Secretaries, Foreign Secretaries, Chancellor of the Exchequer, Shadow Chancellors, you know, all of those things. I had conversations and continue to have conversations with sirs, lords and dames, people that have actually run this country. And if I can talk to them and bang the drum for the people that listen to this podcast, because I think all of our problems are solved in our country by a booming economy. I think this country is a very special place. It has talented people, hardworking individuals, and the government should be the WD-40, the lubricant to get the economy going. But actually, I think they put rust in our way. You know, I really do, especially at the moment. You know, this punishing tax on jobs. No, we've had successive months rates of unemployment. That's because government have put nicks on. You can't tax your way to growth and tax your way to solving the country's problems, because people just leave, and they are leaving. And crucially, the wind has been taken out of people's sails, which has got nothing to do with money. It just makes people go, I'm not going to invest in it because I'm scared of what's going on with this direction of travel. It's very sad.
So when you found out you hadn't, was there any like reservations about it? Because obviously you're very well known down this neck of the woods. You're very well liked. You know, most people over the age of 30 and 40 had a birthday party that you did. Like, you're held in quite like emotionally sort of people. You've been at key seminal moments. You are held in high regard, I would say, around this neck of the woods. Was there anything you're like, I'm not sure if this is the right move, because
I think
half the family don't vote blue, for example?
No. I just want to stand up for entrepreneurs and business owners, and and hardworking people. And, I think I could have got myself into a bigger media position on traditional media that would have then, exposed more on, writing articles and stuff like that. I do think all of that makes a difference. And I could have got through to people and said, look, I understand what you're trying to do, but it's a chocolate teapot of an idea. You've got to go and let hardworking people spend their money, not you, because you can't spend their money better than them.
What about your existing team? You're a man who employs 2,500 people and will turn over 50 million quid this year. So when someone came along and went, hey, this busy entrepreneur guy, let's give him another full-time gig. What was your senior team saying? Were they like, we've got your back? Or was it like, Jesus, do not do this?
No, they really wanted me to do it.
Did they?
Yeah, they were really disappointed when I didn't get the candidates. I mean, I think when I got...
Even Janky?
Yeah, Janky, because...
Did anyone fear for you, though? Like, I don't know about this, mate.
I think they would be very fearful of me becoming an MP.
Right.
And the scary thing about me being an MP is because of my personality type. If I actually did that, I don't know what would happen. But I'm up, I know why.
You would shine like a bright star, whether that would explode like a supernova or be the North Star, who knows?
No, but someone like me would
go through the ranks and be...
Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
See you later, Kevin. Your time's done.
No.
I can't say you're your personal friends now, can I?
No, but I want to be an entrepreneur and business owner. Yeah. And the mayor thing is a good way of being able to communicate and help those people. Because really, I'm not interested in wars. I'm not interested in international stuff. I'm interested in hardworking folk getting on in life. That's why I do this podcast. That's why I go and speak at entrepreneur events. That stuff I'm very passionate about. I'm not the person to run the NHS. I'm not the person to run all those things, that come with being an MP. I want business and entrepreneurship to be amazing in this country. I want this to be the most entrepreneurial country in the world. And it so could be. It really could be. You look at who's got what we've got. Who's got what we've got? We're big enough to actually be the most entrepreneurial country in the world. I just don't know why we don't grab that opportunity.
Given that you only found out a couple of days ago about the mayor thing, has there not been, if people have gone, well, the thing that you really want to care about is business and entrepreneurship, you can help that in a different way?
Well, I think so that they've asked me to be, an advisor to them. And I
to the mayor?
No,
to the government,
to the Conservative Party.
Oh, really?
To sit on there. Which, I will absolutely love.
Would you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Look, there's, the successive governments have let down hardworking folk over the last 15 years, both Conservative and Labour. But it's, what people will say about them, I've had a little look behind the curtain. It's incredibly difficult. The reason stuff doesn't get done is because of the great thing about this country being a democracy. And it's very difficult. And you want to live in a democracy. It is frustrating that things don't get done. But I can promise you, I've met some very effective people that are in government. I've met some people that I can't believe they got there. But there are some amazing people that are passionate and really care about this country.
Having looked behind the curtain,
no names.
No.
Some people amazing, and we're lucky to have them in that position.
Having looked behind the curtain, do you feel more hopeful or fearful for what the future of this country is?
Well, I'm not keen on more taxes. I'm not keen on that, which I think is coming down the road. We have such an amazing opportunity. If I was in charge, I would just, there's so many easy levers to pull that government don't need to spend any money on. It's just, you need someone to inspire and communicate that.
So we need a business czar.
Yeah, it's whether they get listened to. So we really need a business czar that wants to be the Prime Minister and give up their life and be hated. And I don't want to do that. I like building dinosaur parks and carousels and making ice cream still.
Did Nat have any reservations about it?
No, she didn't fully understand it.
Fine.
So she just thought it was amazing.
Did you intentionally keep her in the dark a little bit?
Even though when I said to her that she's not stupid, but I said, she was on the phone. We was driving back from the airport when I got the call that I didn't make it into the final one. And she went, "Oh, right, who's that?" Then I said, "Oh, it's the lady called Louise now." She went, "Well, when will everyone find out?" "Well, she's got to go for the election." She went, "Well, isn't that what you've just done?" I said, "No, this is just the candidate being chosen for the Conservative Party." She went, "What? So when is the election?" "Next May." That there's still I could stand as an independent. I could do that.
Oh, here's an idea. Go rogue.
I could do that. But,
will you do that? Would you do that?
Maybe.
It's just got even more spicy.
Maybe.
Do you think that role, genuinely, now you've seen what it's for, do you think it could make the impact that you would want to make? Because I know you I know how big your heart is and I know how big your ambitions are. And if you set out to change something, you would only be satisfied if you could do it. If given the remit of that role and the power that it has or hasn't got, could you actually make a difference? Do you think? Does that role have the power to make the difference you think needs to be made?
I think the real power lies with ministers in this country.
Mm.
So maybe, and the top ministers, Prime Minister, the Chancellor, Home Secretary, the Foreign Secretary, Treasury ministers, there's, say, a collection of 10, 12, 15 people. There's some junior ministers, but the DEFRA minister, the NHS, Wes Streeting, those people really do have considerable power. And it's not really the Prime Minister on his own. It's the cabinet working together. Yeah, and certainly the Deputy Prime Minister, certainly the one we have at the moment, has considerable powers, and a lot of respect of the backbench MPs. So that role, if I could have built my media, carry on building my media personality or my media, what's the word?
Awareness and profile, yeah.
Like Nigel Farage has done for reform, but if I could continue to do that for entrepreneurship, so the more people that watch us, the more people that, hear that we should be banging the drum of enterprise. We should be banging the drum of private business and entrepreneurs solving the world's problem, which the data showed us that's all entrepreneurs have done. Everything that we hold dear, everything we love, whether it's communication, holidays, medicine, the internet, transport, you go back, there's an entrepreneur that's taken capital risk, time risk, huge personal sacrifice to move us forward. It's always entrepreneurs. And if I believe the UK could be so special because, we're not massive, but we're not tiny. We're a G7 economy. There's so many good things about us, and I feel we're a massive untapped opportunity. So if I built my media personality, the Conservatives get back in 4 years, which I think is highly likely because I think 4 years is a long time. They're not doing well at the moment, but data shows us that it goes red and blue and more blue. I'm in a position where I know all the senior people now, like WhatsApp, phone calls, first name terms, and that I could really help. And if my personality or my profile is big enough, which in another 4 years, because I'm just looking at the data, I could be in a position to really change the conversation for the better of everyone.
Can you still do that without being the mayor?
Maybe.
I
was talking to Kemi this last
first
week.
name terms, cash,
and I was telling her, this is what you need to do to win. And she was listening.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that come up in conversation?
I'll tell you what it is really interesting. What's really interesting, JB, is the Conservatives are changing their thoughts. The very fact they want to talk to me shows that there's some innovation happening there. I'm not bothered about telling this lot what I think. Usually I think 5 years ago I wouldn't have been prepared for this. It'd be like, oh, yes, Kimmy, or yes, Mrs. Patel, or yes, Mel Stride, who's the Shadow Chancellor. Please, can I talk to you? I'm like straight in there. This is what you need to do. Sort it out, or things are going to go seriously wrong for us. I'm very assertive going in there. There's no niceties. I'm respectful, but I'm straight in. I just don't see I could have done that 5 years ago, 3 years ago. No, I'm in a different place.
What is the different place? Is it just more lived experience?
I don't know. I think when I interviewed people at the beginning of our YouTube journey 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, I'm just not fazed by people in high positions of power or billionaires anymore. I remember I interviewed Peter Jones with Chuds, and we got it on the YouTube channel somewhere, and I was just like looking up to him a bit in awe, but it actually doesn't make you a very good interviewer.
Yeah.
If you look at someone like, I don't know, who's Piers Morgan, one of the most famous interviewers, like him or loads of them in the world, every day he's meeting someone more famous than most people can ever fathom. So he's just probably not bothered by it. So straight into, brass tacks. I'm getting used to dealing with this now. Someone attacks me, or, I deal with a lawyer or an accountant that tries to outsmart me, tells me what I need to know. No, this is what's going to happen. Thank you very much, because that's the decision I've made. How about have a day off? I'm just not. I had to do all these hustings and speaking things.
What's a husting?
A husting is like a debate that political people use. So there's the Conservative hustings where they'll choose the candidate.
Okay.
So I had to do 3 on a Sunday. I had to go South Essex Village Hall, North Essex Village Hall, and then online. So
to meet their Conservative members.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and I had to stand in front of those people. No preparation. This was 3 days. They said, I think you should run for candidate. You need to do these hustings. I went and done them. I'm just used to doing stuff like that. It doesn't faze me. It doesn't bother me. I could do it 5 years ago, but I was a little bit, nervous. Don't get nervous. It's when sometimes you look at yourself and you think, I wasn't nervous about speaking to the leader of the opposition. It's just like making a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Chuds and I read a book. What was that book that we were about?
Together?
No.
We got to the bottom of the page first.
Bedtime, yeah.
What was the one about the table tennis player?
Oh, Bounce.
Bounce, yeah. Me and Chuds.
Matthew Syed.
Yeah, have you read that?
No, I've heard it's very good.
And he was talking about Olympians. They do all this training for years and years and years to get to the top of their craft. And he said, really, anxiety and worry is sometimes what makes them not do that extra 10%. And he said, the coaches said, just it's enough on a training session. Just think of this as another training session, because it can distract you, can't it, from making your point. And if you're nervousness, if you're not comfortable, and I feel really good that when I'm meeting these people, I suppose because I met so many sirs, lords and dames in a week, it didn't impress me anymore.
Is it just like a realisation like you're the same, you're no different from us?
Absolutely.
You're no different from us, you've just got a title.
Or another thing is, you would naturally, I think, when you're younger and you pander to someone else's belief and you go, oh, I really like green. Oh, I really like green as well. Whereas now I go, I can't stand green. I think that looks terrible on you.
Wow.
That
didn't have to be the example.
But what most people do is try and naturally fit in. And I looked for our agreements and, what can we agree on? Because I think that's good to get a point across. But I'm also not just going to pander to what I think should be said.
Has that come about because of growth in business or just growth in yourself?
It's just that after 2 weeks of meeting all these people.
No, but it's not the 2 weeks either, though, is it? It's the because you said you had been someone very different 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, so what's happened in the 5 years? What growth personally is it? Because it's a personal growth as well as a business growth. So what is that thing, that almost extra layer of confidence? Or
I think it's like with everything, like borrowing £1 million when you first do it and you get that loan document saying personally guarantee £1 million, you think, ooh, hello.
yeah,
Then once you've done it multiple 10 times over,
it doesn't phase you.
Why is it only 10 million? Can't it be 20 million?
So the MP locally, so Sir John phones you the first time, your phone, you go, oh, okay, squeaky bum time a little bit. But then because you've been doing that so often, then Kemi phones up, be like, hey, Kemi, what's going on?
Exactly that. But I just want to, I feel like.
And it's because you know you've got something good to offer, because of the self-confidence. Like, I know that what I've got is
it.
You need this.
Yeah, I've done more than you, so let's.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I just want everyone to win. I think passion makes you very effective in arguments.
Yeah, I think it probably does. I think in your instance, and again, I'll be biased because you're my good pal, but when people are of solid moral substance, you go, if you've got the ability to execute like you have, and you've got the moral compass that you have, that's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
do you know what I've learned?
James Sinclair for president, everybody.
One other little thing before we...
Forget the mayor job, let's get him the top job.
One thing that's really interesting, talking to Janks, we went and met a very high-profile minister.
Did you take Janky as backup?
I took Janks to Westminster.
Did you?
Yeah, because I wanted her opinion.
What does she make of it? I bet she's really unfazed by it all, isn't she?
Yeah, she it's really interesting. This particular person who's a very highly effective individual could be a CEO of a big business. They're a Dane.
Yeah.
They run one of the highest offices of the land. So that is Home Office, Foreign Office, the Treasury, one of those three. And still decides to be an MP on 80, 90 grand a year. Probably could earn 2-3 million a year now.
Yeah,
being a high level exec in one of those businesses, but decides to carry on doing that because that's where their passion lies. Very interesting.
Well, there you go.
Which just proves a point. It's not money that really drives people. It's purpose.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a knock on the door, isn't there?
Well, I think there is. Who could it be? It could be Kemi. It could be a Dame. So, knows who's at the door. Let's find out.
Interesting quote.
It's time for this.
Interesting quote or fact.
Interesting quote or fact.
It's time for the interesting quote or fact of the week.
Come on then, what you got? I got a
Sam, it's another quote for me.
Same here.
Sam from Allgoods in Tasmania.
Oh, you're joking, mate. Absolutely.
He loves the podcast. Sent me this on Instagram. Hi, James. Big fan of the pod and YouTube channel. I just watched the rock salt episode and thought I'd share a quote I live by.
Oh, nice.
That was a good episode.
That was a good one.
Check it out, gang. I first heard this from a warrant officer when I was in the Army Reserves, and I apply this in my brick and mortar retail business. I love this. You ready for it, gang?
Come on.
Simple things done well count most.
Oh, that is good.
Simple things done well count most. Have a great day. My best one is how you answer the phone in your business. Hello, Blue Ball. That's how most people do it. Hello, Blue Ball. How can I help you today? Just 10% more.
I remember you saying in a couple of weeks ago you were getting annoyed because there's a way you guys used to answer the phone at Marsh Farm, and then people have just stopped answering the phone that way.
Yeah.
Have you instigated the change? Is everyone asking if people are having a magical day again now?
Yeah, absolutely. All those things, like wearing a name badge or great uniforms in your business. If you really just put 10% more effort into the uniforms, how well presented your team look. Back of mind, think it's a very simple thing done well counts for a lot. I was listening to Stephen Bartlett's book because a friend of mine said, it's actually a good book, which is I think 33 Laws or whatever it is.
It's good.
It's all the Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy stuff.
Moshed together.
It's good personal development. And one of the chapters is what the small stuff. That's what great people do. He was talking about, when people arrive on the podcast, that they play their favorite music
in the car.
Yeah.
And have their favourite drink in the fridge. Yeah.
And they get the air conditioning just right, not too hot, not too cold.
Yeah.
All those little 1% things. And
that's how Jimbo treats me coming on this podcast. He always sends me a car and he's like, oh, set it to 17 degrees again. He'll get me the...
But I do like that. So thank you very much from Tasmania, Sam, from All Goods in Tasmania. Simple things done well count most. Thank you for that.
That is very, very true. I had one sent through on Instagram from Ollie Dunstall. Ollie said, I was going to... I'm not going to read that out, Ollie, you horrible human being. He said, I was going to send this interesting quote to Jimbo, but yours have been great recently, so I thought you deserved it more. Brilliant. He said, this is Ollie's quote. This is great. Ships that wait for perfect conditions never leave the port.
Oh.
Ships that... Oh, fine, we need the music.
Come on.
Ships that wait for perfect conditions never leave the port.
That's if we was rating that, that's an 8.
That is an 8. Well
that's
done, Ollie.
Great. I love that.
You could have had a 10 out of 10 if you hadn't mugged me off. You could have a 9.
Can I just have that one more time? What? Read it.
Ships that wait for perfect conditions never leave the port.
That is most human beings, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it just? There we go. Anyway, so that's Jimbo's political career covered off. Some inspiration. You got a quote for us, Chuds? Are you going to join in this one?
Yeah, I've got one that's very, very similar to that.
Okay.
It has the same message. And it's easier to change direction on a moving ship than one that hasn't left the port.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the same thing, right? If you want to make a decision, actually, just get going first, and then it's easier to change direction.
That's good. I like it. Chuds, everybody.
Shout everybody. Well done, Chads.
Right, should we actually get into do we talk about our guest business? Have we even,
no,
have we even done that part? Oh my God, no, so sorry about that.
This was the Particle Political Broadcast.
But yeah, other parties are available. Right, so today we're talking to, have we not actually done this yet? We haven't, have we? Sorry, Luke, who's about to become our guest. So Luke runs a company called Trip Booth. You can find out more information about them by going to www.tripbooth.co.uk. They have been going for 8 years, but they're a travel business. So obviously 3 of those years were shut down during COVID. So they've effectively been trading sort of 3 or 4 years actively. They've got 3 team members. They're doing $3,000 a month in estimated monthly revenue. The biggest challenge is managing their 3 full-time jobs whilst working on the business. And I asked Luke in the pre-chat chat, I said, look, the side hustle thing, is that out of necessity or because that's how you want to run it? He said, no, out of necessity. Really, all 3 of us would love to run this as a full-time gig. So let's see if we can give some advice and guidance to get them towards that end outcome. Second biggest challenge is their large regulatory industry. It's a large regulatory industry and there's ever-changing rules, including pandemics. Third biggest challenge, Brexit and the troubles of getting people into and out of Europe. Where do you want to be? In 1 year's time, he says, double the revenue and have more secure systems and processes in place. But if you look at it, double the revenue is going to be $6,000 a month and you're not paying 3 people full time on $6,000 a month for you. So maybe we need to do some extension of what is possible with Luke's thinking, maybe. What does the business look like when it's finished? He said, a multi-stranded travel company with trips at its core, a coach company, a hotel and accommodation brand, the TUI of educational travel, basically. Do you make the profit you want to make? And if so, what is it? He says, at this stage, yes. It's recognition money as we have sustaining incomes in jobs, but no, as we wish to grow rapidly. How do you spend your day-to-day time in the business? He said, we're running this on weekends and evenings. God, that is a hard old gig, isn't it? As a full-time job, and then you do something like this on the side full-time as well, pretty much. Let's get him on, shall we? Get him on, we'll find out more information. Luke, are you still there, my friend?
I am here. Hello.
Oh, hello, Luke.
Hello, Luke.
Thank you for your massive patience as we talked about His Lord Highness President of Essex, James Sinclair. Luke, tell us in your own words about Trip Booth, please, my friend.
Yeah, so Trip Booth is an educational travel agency. We are teachers ourselves. That's where it was born out of. It's quite a difficult thing to put a trip together. It's quite daunting when you first do it. So in essence, the business was born out of trying to make that simpler for teachers, but also trying to make it a little bit more special for the things that you don't necessarily think about. So our experience of previous travel agencies were that you just get a there and back package. We wanted to sort of hold their hands and be there along the way so that teachers only have to think about behaviour and collecting passports and collecting money. And that basically is it. So, yeah, we're a business. We sort of specialise on residential trips overseas. Pre-pandemic, that was mainly in Europe. But actually, post-pandemic, it's easier to send somebody to America than it is to Europe. So
Why is that? Why?
it's because of all the Brexits, sort of getting before COVID, before we left. It's Brexit, really. It's not really COVID, it's Brexit. Before that, you could send a coach through the Dover port, and 1 in 20 coaches would have to ask all the passengers to get off. Now every single coach has to get off and show their passport, get it stamped, and all that sort of stuff. And I think that will all change with the new ETIAS system, and it is moving in the right direction. But there are massive queues, delays down at the port.
What's the acronym for listeners? What's an ETIAS system?
ETIAS is the new European visa waiver system thing. So you'll pay something like £6, I think it is, and you'll get 2 years of cover so that you won't need to get a visa for the country that you're going to.
Similar to what America have with what's the American?
ESTA or something?
The ESTA, yeah. So the same as an ESTA program, but for Europe.
And who gets the £6? The European Union or the?
I think it goes to the European Union. Actually, I think it's via the UK government, but it goes straight to the European Union. Yeah.
So, did you vote in or out for Brexit? Do you remember?
I voted to remain. Yeah.
It's interesting. That seems like such a long time ago.
But it does. Yeah, it's nearly 10 years.
Yeah, madness. I remember the people. Wow, really divided people.
God, it did, didn't it? Split families in half and friendship groups. It was very combative, wasn't it?
I mean, one thing there is actually the benefit now of not being there with the tariffs. I mean, that has made a massive difference to the UK compared to Europe.
Yeah.
Because they're on 15% tariff. I mean, that's unbelievable this is happening, but it's only 10% for the UK, which is going to be great for the UK economy. So whether you're in or out, that is some good news from it. So the ESTA process is easier than the European Union, is it?
It is. It just, that's not changed. Whereas with Brexit, there's been loads of changes. So we've always operated with America in the same way. So we've always known what it is. The only difference is that the ESTA takes 3 days, not 20 minutes to come back now. But that's just a bit more planning. So that hasn't changed. But the other thing what's that?
Why does it take 3 days rather than 20?
I don't know. It seemed to change with Donald Trump's first term in presidency, and I think it was just that they want to do more checks on people that are coming in.
Fine.
Maybe, I don't know. But more often than not, it comes through in a day.
But it's America, not us making.
Yeah, no, it's America. It's America. The other thing with Europe that has made it slightly more difficult, and it's not necessarily Europe, but we used to send a lot of trips to Disneyland, and Disneyland themselves are restructuring. So a lot of the options that we had originally with them, we now can't use. So for example, we now can't use on-site hotels. We have to use off-site hotels. It just becomes it's completely changed how the business operates, and that's fine because we evolve.
Why can't you use on-site hotels?
Because they're packaging them up themselves as their own little trips. So they don't do groups, but they are reserving capacity in their hotels for normal families or whatever.
Fine. So how do you make money? So a school comes to you, we want to take, it must be like 100 grand, is it? For something like that.
Yeah.
So 100K trip, how do you get a percentage of that or a fee to organise it?
Yeah, so we'll put the trip together and we'll charge a per student fee. We give a 1 in 10 free teacher ratio, so they don't have to cover anything, including their food costs and all that sort of stuff. So we always thought that the teacher shouldn't have to outlay anything as part of the trip because they're a school and they're becoming parents for the week, basically. So we'll charge a per student fee, put a little margin on top of it, and then at the end of it, one of the things in the pre-chat was about regulation. So we actually work with another company who we're a Journeys partner with, and we use their ATOL and APTA protection. Yeah. So they take a margin as well, and then we take a profit share in essence on the other end of it. But we do all the work, but they take all the risk.
So you call up BA or Virgin and say, I want 200 seats or something like that. Is that right?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, the Journeys partner that we use are one of the flight ticket facilitators for the UK, so they have immediate access to all the flights in the UK, basically. So, yeah, a trip in February just gone, we had nearly 250 seats on a 300-seat plane. So we took the whole thing, basically.
Bet the other passengers love that.
Oh, can you imagine?
Well, it's all right. Yeah, they're all
250
16, 17.
16-year-old kids hyped because of Disneyland. Imagine that's a long flight in there.
Wow.
You know, it's surprising, though, because the sorts of trips that you go to America, because they're quite expensive, it attracts, a better behaviour on those trips. So you would think that it would be this sort of raucous Ibiza flight, but actually it's a very calm and respectable trip, which I know is easy
and their
to say.
teachers are on board as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Posh kids plus teachers equals no hassle. Right. Noted.
So what that's interesting. How many kids a year are going on these? I mean, I don't know any kids that their school take them to Disney World.
No, but we're not at the age of kids going to places, are we yet? Because our kids that don't go to secondary school, you wouldn't do that in junior school.
Yeah,
last year they normally go to France or Isle of Wight, didn't they? Is their first
Isle of
trip?
Wight's where I went. Yeah.
So the youngest we've sent out, we work with schools and colleges. It's mainly colleges, so 16 to 18-year-olds. But we've worked with some 14, 15-year-olds as well, so year 10 onwards. We are at the limit, which again is one of our sort of sticking points. We're at the limit of the number of trips that we can facilitate, but we probably send out 300, 400 students a year to America.
And I'm looking at the numbers here. Yeah, it's quite a small beer for you to make money out of that. Are you still teaching as well?
Yeah. Well, we've accidentally we've all got really big jobs all of a sudden because it started where we were just sort of lecturers and teachers. And then COVID hit, and through necessity, you sort of start thinking about your career and all that sort of stuff. And we've all managed to get these massive jobs. So yes, we're all.
What does a massive one? You like deputy heads and stuff?
Well, I'm a head teacher of an SEN school.
Wow.
We've got the dean of animation at a massive university in America. So one of my partners is in America, in Georgia. And then the third chap is one of the senior leaders at one of the biggest film and TV colleges in London. So they're massive. They're massive jobs.
Your job. So what did you say? You're a head teacher.
Yeah, head teacher in SEN school.
No one can ever believe me when I say some of these secondary schools have like 20, 25 million pound budgets for one school, don't they?
Yeah, huge.
Just no one can believe me. This is someone's a teacher. All of a sudden, they're running a serious business, aren't they?
And that's sort of what the academisation has done. It sort of turned them into businesses rather than schools, and that's fine because you want to find efficiencies and their facilities and all that sort of stuff. But the actual costs of running those schools, predominantly in staffing, I'd be, it's probably 90% utilisation. It's probably only like 5% where they can put that back into a bit of a rainy day pot. It's a very expensive operation.
What's the budget of you running your school?
Our school probably, because we're an independent special school, so we're not a mainstream school. We're only a couple of million, really, in income.
Even that, who teaches you as a teacher to know how to do that? You're just learning it on the fly.
Well, I think probably what's happened is I was a teacher first, then I started a business, and because of those skills that we've developed in the business, it's attracted me into that role, and that's why I got that position. Because I can think differently about it. That is part of the problem with mainstream schools, is that head teachers have gone through the ranks, but they don't necessarily have any business sense or financial sense. And you would traditionally have a position like a school business manager who would run that. They used to be like an accountant. But even those roles are sort of wishy-washy now, and they're going into trusts where there's one person doing 15, 20 schools. So, they are businesses, but they're sort of not necessarily being run in the same structure.
Okay, right. Well, let's get into the challenges, JB. Fascinating. I'm interested in this. You can't believe that there's a business like yours taking kids off to America and stuff.
Well, and there are loads. There are quite a few. I mean, during COVID, lots of them shut. If you think of something like PGL, they're probably the most famous.
Yeah. I mean, I bought. I don't know if you know. I own a business called Beaumont.
Beaumont, yeah.
Yeah, which was owned by Inspiring Learning, which done residential trips, but obviously that all went wrong. And PGL bought Inspiring Learning out of administration.
PGL did really, really well during COVID. Actually, they were one of the only businesses that did really, really well because it was all UK-based residentials.
Yeah. Well, inspiring learning, and then obviously that's all stopped and people have gone back to pre-COVID habits like going to you to do international travel, and they're now, I think, finding it harder. Hence, inspiring learning are no more. And there was a big government funding change on when Labour come in. That sort of they lost a big funding thing. You probably know about this on residential trips and stuff.
Don't know yet. All of ours are sort of privately funded by the parents, so we don't get any funding directly.
Anyway, they lost like 7 or 8 million of funding.
Wow!
And that was curtains. All right, let's do it, JB. What's the
Well, so the challenge, we've talked about them already a little bit. So managing 3 full-time jobs whilst trying to grow the business. Second biggest challenge is the large regulatory industry and ever-changing rules, including the pandemics. And the third one was Brexit and the troubles of getting people in and out of Europe. I guess we sort of touched on all those in advance. So we'll jump to the questions. Question number 1 was, what model of funding do you see best for us? Take on investment. One of us quits their job and works full-time in the business, or soldier through and retain all the equity?
I mean, if this was mine, I would probably look now to employ someone full-time, and the 3 of you become shareholders of the business. You all got high-powered jobs. You're happy probably putting your money into a pension each month. Is it worth you saying, right, we're making some money, let's all put £500 a month in towards a really good manager, and you probably would find that a very good return on investment. I mean, that's certainly what I'd be doing. So you'd have someone then full-time growing it, and then you coaching, mentoring and advising them, taking the business to the next level. Maybe even giving them, a little slice of the pie, which, because you've already done that. I mean, if you owned it 100%, I wouldn't suggest doing that, but as that's already happened, so they're incentivized for the growth. Could you run your school as a head teacher only there 3 days a week and expect the great results for the school? Probably not. This is like a baby that needs lots of love, full-time care until it becomes 18 or 21 years old, just like a human being. Then it can start to coast. And actually, when you look at really great traditional businesses, it's because they're 30, 40 years old and have got all that establishment around them. So that's probably what, if it was mine and I really believed in it and you really see there's opportunities, you need someone full-time on it that you coach.
Yeah, and it is something that we looked at, and it's just finding that person. Because of COVID, it's a bit like some of the other travel companies and airlines. Everyone left that world and found jobs elsewhere.
What are you doing to find them? Are you just hoping that they're knocking on your door? Are you actually proactive in looking for them?
We've actually, so we've gone to the companies that we used to work with that went bust during COVID, the people that we directly work with. They've sort of moved. I mean, there was some fantastic people that we've worked with, but they've moved on and they found something more secure. And I think COVID sort of spooked them a little bit that their whole job could fall out. So it's finding somebody that wants to take that work on potentially as a side thing as well. Maybe
I think if you really want it to go to the next level, it can't be someone that wants to take it on as a side thing. Businesses don't work on side hustles unless you want them to be a side hustle.
Yeah.
And if you really want a side hustle, maybe give this up and start flipping stuff on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. I really do believe that, there's much easier way. I mean, this looks like could be a proper business. There's some good things here. This is, and there's 3 owners here, and just have to make that decision whether you want to go big or go home.
Well, and we certainly do want to go big. We've got all these great big plans, and we sort of know the path that it's going to take. And actually, we know we agree with you that actually we need somebody who's going to take on the trips. I'm good at talking to people and engaging with people and doing the sales bit, and then I want to hand that off to actually see the trips out. So I don't think we want to step away completely, but we do. Yeah, I think it sort of confirms to us.
Is there a competitor in this country that is quite far ahead of you?
There's quite a few well-established ones.
Million-plus businesses?
Yeah.
Well, then, you speak to a recruiter and you get them to headhunt and, you don't have to take them on. And that's what I would do. That's what I would do, just to show you what's out there. You go to a recruitment company and say, look, this is the sort of person I want. don't tell me what you find me the very best person. I don't care what the salary is, just so that you can meet someone that might be on more money than you're earning in your head teacher's role, just to see what's out there.
Yeah, it's a good plan.
Because you don't have to take them on. You really don't. But it will open your mind up to the possibilities.
Yeah, good.
I mean, how often do you go and spend time with other head teachers that run schools that maybe are ahead of you, and it opens up your mind to your possibilities? Do teachers do that?
Yeah, they do that. And there's a lot of sort of closed off, because they're like businesses now. There's lots of sort of closed off schools. So it's quite difficult to.
But can I just tell you something, Luke? I do that with day nurseries. I do that with my farm parks. I do that with people that own commercial property. I do that with people that own holiday parks now. Boy, oh boy, I start thinking, actually £1 million ain't a lot of money, or maybe I was too tight on that £20,000, or I'm spending too much over there. It's the best thing to do to open up your mind.
That's a good plan.
And the amount of times I've done that thing with the recruitment thing, I think, no, I've just got to find the money to afford these people because they're just going to change our life.
Well, and we know that, we know that it would probably rinse the budget straight away, but it would rocket fuel what we could do.
Yeah, but remember this, have you got a house with a mortgage?
Yeah.
So when you buy your house in the first year, you don't go, it's going to be worth double net in a year's time. You think, well, when I retire, I'm 65, when I'm 50, or even in 10 years' time, no, this thing's going to be worth some money. When you took on, as a teacher, as a head teacher, you take a school and you go, look, imagine what this could be in 10 years' time if I really put my effort to it. Mm-hmm. And that's what business is like. My favourite quote on business, not that we're doing another interesting fact or quote of the week, is a Bill Gates phrase. And it is this: most people overestimate what can be done in a year and underestimate what can be achieved in 10. Business, or building a business from what you're doing here, is a marathon, not a sprint. And do you really need to make any money out of it? If you've both got 3 great jobs, can't you just say, look, we're going to invest in this for 3 or 5 years into people, and then we're going to have a nice life out of it.
And and that's certainly where we're at. We just take money out of it because it's fun money, but we're not taking much out of the business. We're leaving it all in there.
Saying, in 36 months, that fun money could be seriously fun money.
Yeah.
And that's like everything in life, isn't it? That is like everything, you delayed gratification gets you the biggest gratification. And it's not even a big, we're not talking 2 decades. I reckon even after 2 years, you'll go, wow, taking this person on was the best thing we ever did.
Also, you'll look at it through the lens of, it's only making $3,000 a month at the moment, so we're going to have to top it up. But if the person comes in who's good, then they're going to turn it into that 3 becomes 6, becomes 9, becomes 12.
Can I just also, on the thing about pensions, I mean, I'm very famous, I'm not very famous, but I'm very famous for saying in my little podcast world that I don't have a pension, because I believe the self-pension, I love the philosophy of a pension, by the way, Luke. I massively believe in the philosophy of pension, but I don't think a pension company can out-earn me. Now, I realise I'm a freak. I'm a unique individual that most people, it's best for them to let someone else build their pension for them. If your pension, you're putting in £500-600 a month into a pension each month because you've got a high-profile job and you've got some final salary thing, yada, yada, yada. I reckon if the 3 of you put £500-600 a month to top up having a full-time employee, if it is the right person, that will out-earn your pension by a country mile. And that's after you've paid the tax on it.
That's true.
The biggest challenge with that is getting your head around the fact that you're paying someone else to run a company for you. That's going to be the biggest challenge with that, isn't it?
Yeah,
you're paying to run the company.
What would be good about it? When you put £500 a month into something, that feels painful.
Yeah. Take it more serious, don't you?
Take it more seriously. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true, that.
Because at the moment, you said it's all been run by word of mouth, and it's run by teachers for teachers, and it says that on the website and all that kind of good stuff. But there's no one here. If you guys are all like running, 2 of them are one's in the States, so they can't be on UK time zones, picking up the phone or whatever. There's no business development. It's accidental income, isn't it, almost?
Well, it is, and it is accidental, but it's also intentional accidental. We're actually quite scared about marketing, to be honest, because we can't facilitate the trips. We've had we could pick up probably double the amount of
just
work.
employ the bloody person. This is
I know.
I mean, this is a bit like counselling. You know the answers to the questions, don't you? You're just coming on here for permission, which a lot of people do, by the way. I suppose all three of you have a little sit round and go, yeah, we really should employ someone. Let's wait till next month and, we really should employ someone. A year later, 2 years later, we should have really employed someone, missed out on 2 years of opportunity there.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about being scared to market at the moment, you shouldn't do any marketing because there's no point marketing something that you haven't got the facility or the capacity to fulfill. So you get the person, increase the capacity and make it a prerequisite of their job to fill that capacity. A business development person changes the game of this kind of business, don't they?
I think we've wrapped this up, Luke. Luke, can I just say, though, to all of your teaching colleague friends, I massively respect teachers, and I think teachers are quite possibly the most important people in our society, more than doctors, more than nurses, more than police officers, because you help people on their first steps. If I wasn't an entrepreneur, I would have absolutely loved to have been a teacher. I just think you guys are literally so important. So thank you to all the teachers that listen.
Most certainly. It's very kind of you to say, yeah. We certainly think it's an important job. So
No, I don't think there's anything more important. No. I think you solve the world's problems, and I really, really do. You can influence, and you see things before.
Change lives every day.
If people have got bad parents, and unfortunately people do have bad parents, a teacher can make all the difference.
You can, and not to go back to the business, just that was really the point of the business, is to increase cultural experience, travelling to as many people as possible, not just those that can afford it. So our plans are to sort of set up CICs and all this sort of stuff so that we can increase to everyone, so that we can nudge someone's life in the right direction that perhaps they wouldn't have that experience if we weren't there. So that's where it sort of came from.
Look, I've actually got a little teacher's quote that I'd like to finish with you on. And this is something that I really love about human beings. If you want to learn about something, you read about it. If you want to understand something, you write about it. If you want to master something, you have to teach it. Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah. There's sort of different iterations about sort of listening, doing, and all that sort of stuff, isn't it? But 100%. Because you know it then, don't you? Because you're just passing on the knowledge and teaching it.
Yeah. Very interesting. Good. Brilliant. Luke, you're amazing. I can't wait to hear when you drop us a message in a year's time saying, I employed the person. It wasn't that bad. And actually, I've now got loads of money.
Yeah.
Is that how you want me to say it?
No, yes, please. Just exactly a tribute like to Harry Enfield.
And tripbooth.co.uk. That's the best place for people to get in contact if they want to book one of these fabulous trips. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Luke, thank you very much for the work that you do in the side hustle and the day job. And thanks for being on the podcast.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Nice one. Thank you very much, mate. There you go. Luke, all the way.
Very frustrating. That could be. I mean, we didn't even. I think he knows how to get all the customers.
Yeah. He is the customer, isn't he? Yeah,
loads 100%. Of people.
Yeah.
We're three teachers. And what do teachers know? They know teachers.
Yeah,
and what do 100%. Teachers want to buy from? Teachers.
Yeah.
It's just that tick, 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 tick. Like the back of mind thinking, are we going to be safe with Luke Mason and his two other business owners if we give all of our kids? I mean, geez. So he probably knows all the seminars to go and speak at, all the exhibitions.
He is the target market. He's literally the target market, isn't it?
Just a little bit of fear holding them back.
Are we 8 traits of the greats in this one?
Well, I think we should.
Oh, okay.
Because we want, I think we should be doing it to make them take the next move.
Yeah.
Okay, so number one,
that's the song.
That's the song. Starting with the end in mind.
No, I mean, he said that, but then no.
Passionate about their cause, we'll give them that. Untold amounts of resilience.
I think you got to be a teacher.
The master relationships of people,
100%.
Commercial awareness, too much commercial awareness in some ways, but
no, we can't have that.
They know their numbers, but it's holding them back. Sometimes that does that with people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Okay, so we're not giving that. The innovates, they don't evaporate. They did. You know, the America, no longer
Could go
in
into Europe. Yeah.
The master marketeers.
No, they don't want to do it.
Stay teachable and curious. Well, that's 4. There's a 4. A solid 4. And that's what most of our guests get. It's a 4.
Oh, here you go.
Here we go. You sing it, JB.
Yeah, come on, Luke and the rest of the team at Trip Booth. 4. A few tweaks and they can have much more. He's got a 4. Yeah, Luke and pals, you got a 4. Few tweaks and you can have much more. Few tweaks. It'll only take weeks to get these tweaks, and then you can reach the peaks. Come on, Luke! Yeah, come on, Luke, yeah. That's enough.
Right,
Shaz looks furious.
It annoys me how good you are at those
It's
stupid...
the only thing I've got, Jimbo. Just let me have that one thing. What a skill set.
I'm on Radio 2. Why have you not employed this man?
I know, but there you go. Right, it's now time for Chuds Quick. Your bit. We need the quizzical quiz. There you go. It's time for the business quiz.
It's Jim versus JP.
It's my turn to read.
It is.
Businessy.
Business knowledge and it's fun.
Which one's clever and which one's dumb? Izzy Wizzy.
Let's get quizzy. Let's get quizzy.
In a typical private UK school, what is the annual budget allocated for educational trips abroad
Ooh.
for a year group of 100 people? 100
Hold
pupils.
fire. Give us
I'm
that
going
again.
to read this one
Please
more time.
do.
If you're playing along at home, in a typical private UK school, what is the annual budget allocated for educational trips abroad for a group of 100 pupils? Well, I didn't get to go to Disney World in America at my school.
No. We didn't. We went to...
We got to the corner shop. That's what
we got.
we did.
Yeah, that's it. Where did we go? We went to
Yeah, I think we went to the Isle of Wight.
Isle of Wight, Black Gang Chine.
Black Gang Chine.
Did the multi-levels of sand. We did that. We went to France.
You went the Needles. That's what they call that.
The Needles, yes.
Isle of Wight.
In the Isle of Wight. We went to France. And my dad came
Bonjour.
along as one of the parent
Good
helpers. It was really annoying. Do you know when you want to go off and have a little... No, a petit fumet. We're going around the corner, have a little cheeky fag, but your dad was there the whole time. And he thought it was such a good idea. He thought I enjoyed France so much. He sent me as a 13-year-old kid for 6 weeks on my own to a French house that I couldn't speak no French.
No way.
Je ne comprends pas.
Did you like it?
C'est merde. Le sommet, le piscine is très bien, mais les vacances, non.
Did you like it?
I was very homesick.
Oh, was you?
Yeah, because they're a lovely family. Like, all fantastically good looking in French. The dad was a doctor.
Hairy armpits?
Oui, mais le très. But they go down to the boulangerie and the bakery in the morning, get the French bread. All that was fantastic. But they went to bed at like 7 o'clock and I couldn't sleep as a kid.
Apparently there's a law, interesting fact here, that they can't put additives in French stick in France.
Really?
That's why you have to eat it on the day.
Wow.
Some
And
law or something.
It was
like that.
beautiful. So, yeah, that part of it was lovely. But, yeah, I was very homesick. I was only 12, 13.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that's interesting.
And then my
What about-
dad, tight ass, right? So I wanted to come home for my birthday because I was going to be my birthday, right? But it was like 50 quid cheaper to come back on EasyJet the next day. So he made me stay on my birthday as well. What a guy.
Unbelievable.
What a
What a
guy.
guy.
And not in a good way. Go on, I'm going 30 grand. Where are you going?
I'm going 45k.
So I've allocated 300 quid a kid.
You're the winner.
Am I? Yay!
£20,000. Most private schools subsidise between 10 and 20% of the total trip cost. Majority of trip funding comes directly from parents over fundraising. The average group size for international trips is 35 to 40 students.
I'm not being funny. Luke, when you're listening back to this, not only are you part of the target market, merci beaucoup, monsieur. They've got to spend it.
You've got to spend it.
There's 20 grand per school you can go and get after.
Well, there you go, baby.
C'est très.
Ladies and gents, thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you're listening on Spotify or on YouTube, mainly on Spotify, can you give us a little review?
Yes.
We would really love you to do that. And if you know someone that should be listening to this pod, just pass the pod along. Just recommend it to one person that you think will get value from listening. And that means a lot to us.
Absolutely.
And by the way, guys, I'm getting ready for Business Masterclass, which is coming up in London. Big 2-day event to help entrepreneurs and business owners grow their business. If you'd like details, go to our website, jamessinclair.net. We'd love to see you there. Okie dokie, gang. Thanks very much for your ears. What do you say?
Cheers for your ears.
Cheers for your ears. Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Hey gang, James here. Great news. Business Masterclass is coming back to London. This is my ultimate 2-day event that will grow the profitability and size of your business so that you can have a commercially profitable enterprise that works without you in it. I've run this event before. People absolutely love it. We get rave reviews and I'd love for you to come along. Imagine 400 business owners in a room serious about growing their business. Imagine the connections you can make. I'll be on stage teaching you all the stuff that I've learned over the last 20 years in 2 days to seriously scale your business up. If you want to find out how to buy companies, raise finance, get customers, and make your teams as profitable as possible, then this is the event for you. Look, it comes with my 100% money back guarantee. You come along to this event, and if at the end of day one you go, do you know what? I haven't got 10 times value out of what I've paid for this. I'll just give you your money back. And there's no sleazy sales on the day. It's just me delivering all the stuff that I know about growing businesses. And I can't wait to meet you. I'll be there. We'll have a little chat with the other 400 people in the room. It's big enough, but intimate enough to really learn the stuff that I know that scales businesses. So get your tickets now before the price goes up. And I'll see you at Business Masterclass to grow your business.